You are now listening to Thoughts from a Beatmaker.
Welcome to another episode of Thoughts from a Beatmaker. This episode, we're going to go over isolation can cure bad vibes. So what does that mean? Well, in a nutshell, sometimes you need to isolate yourself away from whether it's your environment or if it's people in general to recalibrate yourself. When I say it can cure bad vibes, sometimes your environment and the people you are around constantly can put something on you, a transfer of energy, as you will. That energy can affect your mood, how you see the world, how you perform, everything. It affects everything. And so the best thing to do is to get away for a little bit from said environment. Now, if the environment is super toxic, then get out of that environment altogether. Your mental health is a lot more important than any space or people. Sometimes you don't realize how, fucked up and messed up people are until you get away from them and you get around actually good people. And you're like, holy crap, I've been around these people for so long and I've only known this way of thinking. And now that I'm around actual positivity, it actually feels good. And so you can never go back. That's why isolation is so important, because it allows the fog to clear away so you can see the path and you can see people for who they really are. And you can kind of get back to who you are as a person. We all have our ways. We all have our inner selves, our true selves. And what happens is when we get into an environment or around certain people, we create a version of ourselves that is palatable to the environment or the people. And we don't realize this. We actually do this, I think unconsciously. And this is a survival tactic, a survival trait, because you realize that, okay, in this environment, you can't be like this, you can't be like that. I've told people, like, sometimes you have to act a certain way because that way people don't hone in on you. Case in point, there are times I've told, my wife, I'm just like, hey, sometimes act like life is not going your way to a certain degree, because what ends up happening is if you're acting super happy, and I know this is messed up, if you're like super happy all the time, like, oh my God, everything's great, everything's awesome, everything's, I have everything I need, blah, 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 then people end up hating you. It's not your fault, but what ends up happening is if you're constantly showing how much better your life is, and I'm not saying be humble, no, don't be humble. What I'm saying is that if you have something precious in your life, guard it with your life. That means sometimes camouflaging yourself away from people who do you harm just for the simple fact that you enjoy your life or you have more than them. Even if it's not by much. People nowadays are on that. I mean, people have always been like that, jealous and envious of other people and the things they have. But nowadays it's now a lot more than ever, especially with social media. And so we really need to understand that getting away from that can really get us back to who we are as a person, as people. So isolation it's needed. Too much isolation is bad. Not enough isolation, is even bad either. You gotta figure out that little even spot to where you can kind of get in there and recalibrate when needed. And you'll know when you need it. You're not as motivated. The things that brought you joy don't really bring you joy anymore. You start to look at the world in more of a disdain than, than more now than ever. And there are just clear signs. And if you've never been in a good environment, you don't know what it means to be clear-headed. So getting away can help you learn that. And so when you unfortunately have to go back to said environment, unfortunately around certain people, then you'll be like, oh, okay, this environment is bad. It's not good for me, but unfortunately I have to be here. But I know that I can step away when needed to get myself together. And once you, I think, learn or master this trick, I think life will be just a little bit more better, because now you've Now you understand. And understanding is the why. I always say understanding the why is always important, because now once you know better, you do better. All right. Well, this is another episode of Thoughts from a Beatmaker. I'll catch you next time. Peace.